Hi guys, it's me again. So my 2 o'clock meeting got canceled. Um, but yeah, this is what I want to show too is, 15 minutes ago, it wasn't like, my point is I was just trying to watch a show. Now I could have turned off the show. I had options. I could have turned off the show. I could have numbed the feeling, but I was like, actually, you are safe to release right now, right? I just want to make that clear. That being said, I think it's the 155th day I'm doing this. Here is your daily dose of hope. And yeah, I'm excited about this new discovery that I just made. And I'm going to use it as, a tool for me because he works with dogs. Cesar Millan works with dogs, a lot of dogs that have had trauma. And he shows not only like compassion and like discipline and stuff like that, but you actually get to see, you just get to see things from a different perspective. And it makes sense, right? Like if our thought patterns are not helpful, but they were installed in us and maybe beat in us and everything, then we need to rewire those patterns. And just like with the dog, he's like, you have to be prepared to do it 100 times because you're rewiring it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a reaction. And it's just been incredible. I had massive back pain, like almost debilitating back pain for multiple days. And there's things I'm doing to help that, but I'm all about, making like, I call it like underground changes, like deep changes, not just surface. Yeah, you can take a medicine, you know, you can take a medicine, but what are you doing to resolve the issue? What are what is the problem? That's just how I like to operate because if I don't do that, I will just drown. You know, there's too many negative and toxic things trying to do that. But that being said, today's quote says, I believe in myself and my ability to succeed. And I just am, oh, there's like a heart shape. Anytime I see a heart, I think of my dog, my beloved dog. It's like a sign saying, you're doing good. You're on the right track. But yeah, I'm really excited about this technique because the great thing about it is that you have the control, like you have the remote control. And again, you're not watching something to trigger it. It's just if you're just watching something and, for some reason all of a sudden you get triggered. So for me, Cesar Millan works with like a lot of like aggressive dogs, like violent dogs. Like that's different. This was like this woman was just afraid of dogs and he used his own dog to rehabilitate her, and it touched me, it like touched me, and I thought I could see the fear in her eyes. I could see the fact that in that moment she didn't need to be afraid, but that was almost irrelevant to her system because she had been attacked by a dog. So her system had generalized that dogs aren't safe, especially large dogs. And it's just so beautiful and like miraculous and like effective that he used one of his own big dogs to rewire, like to change that association, right? So that's what I'm doing using the show is like my programming is that crying's not safe, releasing's not safe, therefore it's not safe to relax because if you relax, emotion comes out. Ugh. So then when I'm in pain, like significant pain, or I'm sick, or I'm just tired, I tense up because I think you can't relax because an emotion's going to come out. You have to be strong, right? Like you have to hold it in all the time. Well, no wonder I never would recover. It's like you're not resting. You're not replenishing what you're giving out, and you're giving out a ton every day because you don't want to not do that. So it's exciting. Like right now, yes, I'm tired, but I stayed with the feeling, even though it felt uncomfortable. Not because I had to tell myself, are you doing anything wrong right now? Like, are you, no? Are you like a blind rage and attacking people? No. Not that I've ever done that, but that's my point. It's like, so you're feeling guilty for sitting on the couch and feeling emotion. That's what you're feeling guilty for right now. Or you're feeling like that's not safe and everything. So you're tensing your body again. So one thing the back pain is teaching me is you can only tense up for so much for so long before your body will just give up and be like, fine, then this is how we're just going to be. And it locks in that position. Then you have to do the work to unlock it again, right? And so it's a teacher for me. But yeah, that's something I'm doing is the show. Another thing I'm doing is this past weekend, I couldn't even take a bath. I was in so much pain. But I needed to be in water. And so what I ended up doing is turning around, turning on the shower and facing away from it and having the water hit my back, And I finally got to go swimming yesterday. We'll be in the water, which is really good for me, It's like, ultimately, I'm learning how to recognize, acknowledge, respect, and process feelings. And then especially when the anger, the justified anger comes through, use that as energy to take a step forward in my own life. So typically every time that I post, it's because the trauma and the bullies, it's like trying to just succumb to it, like just trying to bury me and be like, just give up, you can't do this, just give up. And knowing that to pretend like I'm not fighting is just taking even more energy. Like I always say, it's easier to carry 100 pounds if you say I'm carrying 100 pounds than to try to be like, I'm not even carrying it. Because and that's what I love about the animals, is he's like, you can say one thing, but the animals know how you actually feel inside, and that's what they respond to. The energy, So, once again, I don't know what I said, but I'm just determined. I don't know if I said this or not before, but I did make a doctor's appointment, which is massive for me on every single level this week. The appointment's for next month, I think. And just seeing the pace that I need to go at, and that's okay, Seeing how I have a fear of being relaxed for very good reasons in the past. But today's a new day. And so the more awareness I have, the more choice I have, the more power I have over what I choose to do. And I'm just really proud of myself for that, and really grateful. And just really grateful that I keep using courage to speak to possibly help people. Because if there's one thing that comes from all of this, is if it helps someone else, I'm serious. It's worth it to me. Because I already do this for my daughter, like I said, every single day. And I see how the fastest way to heal something is to go through it. And I see how, because I'm a single mom, it feels like, well, you don't have energy to do that, and then that, and that. Therefore, you never get to heal. That's been like the thought process. But you know what? That's a disservice to myself. That's a disservice to anybody I come in contact with. Because like I said, I think that people are inherently good, but they either become consumed by it and spread it, or they succumb to it. Or they just shrink back and they just never fully express themselves because it's just too damn scary, you know? So this is me, like I said, hacking away at the brambles and not fearless whatsoever. Very afraid, and yet doing whatever I can every single day to not only, feel as good as I possibly can feel, but to examine it. And I'm doing a lot of mindset work of, oh, I have very toxic thought patterns. Okay, whose thought is that? Is that my thought, or is that something someone planted in me? And incredibly, the way it works out is the toxic ones are the ones that those aren't our thoughts. We weren't born thinking that. So, and then it's so funny because one of the meta thoughts that has really been effective at destroying myself is, you shouldn't need tools, you shouldn't need help, you shouldn't need repetition. But everything, I even just read another book, and everything is saying that repetition is the mother of learning. And we know this with kids, we know this with animals. Well, it's the same with us. So anyway, that being said, the bottom line is I released more today. I'm speaking now. I'm going to be, even more, going to be able to be even more there for my daughter when she gets off school as a result of me doing the work, which for me, it's the hardest work you can do. But it's also the most powerful because it feels like you're planting new seeds, like you're digging up the roots and planting new things. And if I spend the rest of my life doing that, so that I can, in certain moments, pull from that and be, project the happiness that I want to project to people and kindness, have extra patience with my daughter, that type of thing. If that's what it takes, if that's the cost of continuing to be able to do that every day, I am willing to do that, So, anyway, I love you guys. Remember, you are the sky. So you were here yesterday, you're here today, and you will be here tomorrow. And you deserve to be here every single day. And, if no one's told you, you matter, and I really do love you because I don't know, I just love people. And I love animals. And I have to say, I consider bunnies good luck. And I was in my car in the parking lot, and this bunny, I was like, is that a bunny? I can't tell, to myself out loud. And this bunny comes from across the thing and just keeps hopping until it's right next to my car. I look down, I'm like, that is a bunny. So to me, that's a sign saying you're going the right direction. You're doing a great thing, It's ultimately really exciting. It's grueling. It's exhausting. And I don't mind that as long as it's effective and it's moving me forward. And I see that it is. Because all these days, ironically, all these days where not normally, the trauma's telling me to just stay in bed, and just give up and all that. And I don't do that, I'm winning. Even if it's really hard and it's emotional not to, I'm winning. In the end, I'm winning, So, anyway, love you guys. Have a great day.